I began to interact with advanced beings and other realities. Like aliens? Maybe that's what he's talking about, but he probably doesn't want to say it because he's like, y'all motherfuckers gonna put down this book if I start talking about aliens. Bitch, this section me up. All right, so this is the foreword of Supercharged Self-Healing, a revolutionary guide to access high-frequency states of consciousness that rejuvenate and repair. Just some light little reading on Monday, baby girl and boys and these lambs. Okay, this is the foreword. This is by RJ's acupuncturist, okay? He's actually got a lot of awards. I'm like, I didn't even know you could get an award for acupuncture. He's an award-winning acupuncturist and State of California Acupuncture Board member who co-creates and grades the California Acupuncture State Licensing Exams. Okay. That's an interesting thing to put as a credit. Uh-oh, the ghost came back.
It's back.
I'll put it near the holy water. Certified in numerous modalities, including visceral manipulation, craniosacral therapy, and neural manipulation. So this is this guy's credentials. Okay, the ghost came back because the holy water evaporated. So we'll just put some down again. All right. So this is the foreword. I first treated RJ at perhaps his lowest point. He was paralyzed from the chest down, and his surgeon told him to get used to it because he'd never seen a patient recover. Not with that fucking attitude. It was 4 days after he'd undergone emergency spinal surgery to remove a sizable infection that had pressed down his cord, causing complete paralysis from the mid-back down. He had rampant diabetes. That sucks. Not only did he have diabetes, he had rampant diabetes. That's not ever the kind of word you want to describe your diabetes. And severe thyroid dysfunction as well. In addition to invading the spine, the lethal infection had completely overwhelmed his immune system, causing a severe autoimmune response. I am an acupuncturist, and I've treated over 75,000 patients. Whoa, what? That's crazy. In my 25 years as a clinician. How? There's no way that checks out. 75,000 patients in 25 years? Okay, I got to do the math on that later. I probably won't, but that doesn't seem right. Anyway, I also practice visceral manipulation and cranio-osteopathy, a lineage emphasizing automatically precise manual palpation skills. That's the end of all the fancy words. We work directly with nerves, organs, arteries, fascia, and ligament tissues, bones, joints, etc. We also work directly with the brain and spinal cord. Once connected, we can then directly interact with the various tissues of the body, helping restore proper function. As I assessed RJ, his status was beyond grim. The crushed spine had caused a complete chest-down paralysis, the inflamed pancreas, the retracted heart, the enlarged and nodular thyroid. Multiple systems were overrun and essentially broken. I was utterly astounded by another specific feature. I could directly feel that he was totally fine. His soul was unscathed by the severe condition of his body. And that made me realize, I've never had a crazy physical issue with my body, knock on wood, ever. Yeah, I was going to say yeah, but no, never. But when I do get really sick, like I've gotten really sick in my life, you just feel so depressed because your body doesn't work. And you're like, why can't I breathe, or why can't I stop coughing or whatever? Like you really get down. And I've always, I haven't really had many friends that have gotten crazy serious like injuries with car accidents or anything. But I've heard of people that like got a bike accident or a car accident and they survived, but their body's just fucking mangled. And I always imagine, like, if that happened to me, I would be so not cute about it. I would complain so hard out loud to anybody near me. Like I would just have the worst, I would have the worst attitude because I don't handle pain of any kind very well. I don't know if you guys know that yet. But spoiler alert, I cannot. So yeah. So the fact that this motherfucker had a good attitude, I'm like, damn, boo, that's a head start. And also how important that is to healing. Because this guy, as you will eventually hear, completely cured himself by himself. Crazy. Early during the first session, as I worked with his brain and spinal cord to help restore flow through the damaged region, I had my hand on the crown of his head. After decades of practice and experience, I can differentiate various qualities of the brain and nerves. As I felt his head, expecting to feel his brain, I encountered a vast empty space. It was absolutely vacant and silent. Of the tens of thousands of patients I have treated during my long career as a health practitioner, I have never encountered this quality. The only way I could describe it is as authentic enlightenment. RJ was fully cognizant of the adversity and razor clear that his will would manifest his total healing. I have often encountered optimism in patients battling against steep odds, but this was completely different. He was simultaneously totally focused on walking and healing while being completely at peace with his severely compromised condition. The completely at peace part, that's some ninja level shit. I mean, I don't know many people that are like that. Maybe I do. I just don't know that part about them. But like that's amazing. So this guy had a little bit of a head start, but that's why he wrote the book on how to do it. And that's why we're going to learn how to do it. Okay. He exuded full acceptance while all his energy was focused on healing. Within 3 weeks, he wiggled a toe. Within 3 months, he was walking exactly as he predicted. His recovery was not linear. It was rapid, with multiple quantum leaps. Not only was the permanent chest-down paralysis healed, but his diabetes and thyroid dysfunction were also resolved. I have never seen this degree of transformation, let alone in such a short time. Guys, anything's possible. I'm telling you, anything is possible, okay? While I regularly witness dramatic improvements in my patients, if I hadn't witnessed this myself, I would consider it humanly impossible. This illustrates part of his profound and almost unexplainable skill set, healing. I mean, come on. Let's go. The guy was given 2 weeks to live and couldn't walk. 100 days later, he's walking and he's fine. And the medical industry is one of the many reasons why I want to read this book. This book is not, first of all, it's not just designed to have for people with like a crazy ailment that are about to die to heal themselves. It is for them too, but it also just can help you out of various swamps you find yourself in. You know what I mean? But the medical industry in America, big old thumbs down, okay? It sucks. It blows. The way that we treat disease and illness and any kind of ailments in America, because that's the only country I know, so that's the only one I could speak to, it's terrible. And the fact that we walk around paying over $600 for health insurance if we live in New York City. I know living in New York is a choice, but Jesus Christ, do you have to rape my bank account with everything, New York? Anyway, I digress. Just walking around with insurance that costs an arm and a leg, and then you get injured by something crazy, God forbid, and then you still got to pay a lot of money. It's crazy. And then looking at the way that doctors solve problems. I know I'm not a doctor. I didn't go to medical school. Okay. But my God, you guys aren't doing a great job because if you were, I hear more success stories. This is a success story, but it had nothing to do with the doctors. I know there are doctors out there that really care about their patients and do provide insane amounts of healing that the patient couldn't reach otherwise through medical intervention, through medication, through all that stuff. I'm not knocking Western medicine. I'm just saying, Houston, it fucking blows. Okay, for the most part. All right, so I'm going to read this book. Here's the introduction, and then we'll be on our merry way, okay? Look at you reading a book through me. Welcome, my friends. Chances are you're reading this book because you seek true liberation. Yes, RJ, I fucking do. Maybe you want to heal a physical issue. Mental suffering. Mental suffering, check. Emotional trauma. Yes, also that. Or perhaps even a disease. Maybe, I don't know if I got one. Maybe I do. I want you to understand that this journey is much bigger than even that. Fasten your seatbelt because this is a giant leap forward in the evolution of individual and collective consciousness. You are about to learn the steps that I took to heal my permanent chest-down paralysis, as well as a myriad of diseases and catastrophic health issues I was diagnosed with. Tell me more. Before we get into the spiritual physics of self-healing directed by the higher consciousness, I want to share with you something that is quite personal. And this is some background about his spirituality. This is an important part because it's like, you don't, just in case anybody's going, why wasn't I born with the ability to heal myself? You were, you just didn't realize it because you weren't born spiritual, you know? Or maybe you were, in which case, good for you. Got a head start. When I was a child, I would normally and without any effort be able to see beyond the veil of our physical senses. I remember explaining to my mother that when I laid down to sleep at night, I would wake up in other realms outside this world. At the very beginning of this experience, I would close my eyes and in a moment, I was pure spirit once again. Oh, lucky. My consciousness was outside of my body, and I would literally watch myself sleep. Sometimes I was floating above my body, and other times I was standing beside my bed. This quickly progressed, and with my consciousness effortlessly roaming our house, neighborhood, or even local mountaintops. All right, so this guy just straight up left his body when he slept. Oh, that's so cool. I want to do that. I realized that without any physical effort, my spirit could go anywhere. My lack of earthly attachment to being human and a focus, which is a big theme in this book, heads up, and focused attention were all that was required to catapult my consciousness into a much higher realm of existence. I began to interact with advanced beings and other realities. Like fucking aliens? Maybe that's what he's talking about, but he probably doesn't want to say it because he's like, y'all motherfuckers are going to put down this book if I start talking about aliens. But aliens is real, so let's get used to it. My daily and nightly adventures afforded me a significantly deeper understanding of our mind, body, and spirit, and how they work in relation to the unseen world. It became totally normal for me to experience the seemingly unimaginable and to retain the depths of these magical wonders and their timeless wisdom. When I told my mom about leaving my body and traveling in the unseen world, she had absolutely no idea what I was talking about. I really thought that what I was doing was totally normal. And for me, it was. I was shocked to hear that the exact opposite was true for her and basically everybody else. Although if you're listening to this and you can fucking astral project at a moment's notice when you fall asleep, DM me at Krystyna Hutch. Tell me how to fucking do it, okay? Me doing this sort of thing certainly wasn't encouraged, to say the least. So I ceased talking about it for roughly 20 years. In fact, for the most part, I stopped actively doing it. Oh, RJ, don't get shame, boo. It's okay. It wasn't until I was 24 years old that I started to intellectually understand what I'd been doing naturally and effortlessly as a child. Since then, I have spent the last 25 years of my life deconstructing, exploring, explaining, and teaching what I instinctively did as a kid. With that brief recapping of my history in mind, let's fast forward to near present day. After being discharged from my 2-month hospital rehabilitation stay as a result of an unexplained catastrophic septic shock that ravaged my body and still paralyzed from the chest down, I was warned that my brittle rib cage was about to snap due to the physical exertion I was perpetually putting my body through in order to regain sensation and functionality from the chest down. I knew this physical exertion was an essential component in the journey to overcome my, quote, permanent, because it's not permanent with that attitude, bitch, chest down paralysis. This was my response to that dire warning my health practitioner had given me. Quote, I am willing to break everything in order to put myself back together again. Okay, RJ, tell him what's up. Tell him what's up, RJ. Tell that doctor with a medical degree that spent way too much money and time to tell you can't heal what's up. I share this so everyone will understand the mindset of total victory. This is a good one, and it doesn't just apply if you're paralyzed from the chest down. Authentic repair, true healing, and spiritual transcendence of great energetic disharmony and physical dysfunction are often beyond brutal because no healing journey is going to feel good the whole time. In fact, it's going to feel like crap and you're going to want to die most of the time. And having that heads up is very important. Your repair and healing will be the biggest challenge you will ever give yourself. It will be filled with overwhelming fear, constant physical turmoil, and emotional upheaval. Ooh, who's horny? There will be countless disheartening setbacks, sometimes painful rehabilitation injuries, and less than encouraging medical updates. Ultimately, the entire journey of healing is crushingly lonely, individual endeavor. Sign me up for that fun ride. No, but really, you should do it. But I'm here to tell you that you are not alone. The answer to your overcoming all of this disharmony and suffering begins with knowing that none of these phenomena are you. And he's about to drop some fucking wisdom. And it's very similar. If you've read The Untethered Soul, it's a book I talk about a lot. It's the same concept. And it's so helpful to hear pretty much the same concept by all these different authors because they have all different ways of explaining it. And then when you read all of it, you're like, okay, I kind of get it. You know, it's helpful to hear everybody's perspective. If you could perceive it, it cannot be you. That's a good one. You are what perceives. Woven within the very fabric of your perception is your depth of wisdom and love. It's deep down in there, Mikey. Don't lose hope. That is the real you. That is what eternally exists prior and gives life to the voice inside your head. Oh my God, he says, by the way, he says the voice in your head or the voices in our heads so many times. And every time I'm like, God damn, I nailed the title of this podcast. because I'm a trendsetter. Okay, your body and any disharmony it experiences. No one is going to overcome your obstacles for you. But boy, I wish they would, but it's not going to happen because they cannot see. They cannot see it. See ill health for what it really is. It's a challenge, boo. It's a challenge. Nothing more and nothing less. Accept it without hesitation so you can summon true grace and real power. Like Beyonce. I said that part. I'm going to show you how to remain supremely focused on your task. Never doubt that it won't be achieved. Do not leak your energy on any possibilities but your triumph. Bitch. Never waver. What was once seemingly impossible will eventually be your manifested reality of victory if you refuse to give in. And refusing to give in, baby girls and boys and they and them, require enduring times where you want to give up. And most of the times you want to give up. And then when you don't, you're like, oh shit, I'm a powerhouse. Many people with chronic illnesses, addiction issues, and various physical, mental, or emotional traumas that weren't healed through other modalities have experienced a significant improvement in their well-being by practicing the Ascend the Frequencies healing technique. And he's going to be using the ATFHT for short. These people have experienced firsthand that healing comes in many forms, even beyond the physical, and that authentic healing does not exist outside of themselves, but rather within. Okay? My personal self-healing journey is medically documented and captured on video because I knew no one would believe this is possible. I am eternally devoted to helping others heal and liberate themselves using the same wisdom and techniques that I used. The 7-step Ascend the Frequencies healing technique captures exactly what I did to transcend the human ego, mind, identity, and identity is a big one, y'all. Just a heads up. He talks about this a lot, and I feel like I personally cannot hear it enough, and I think most people on this planet should be hearing this more often. We cling too hard to our identities. And your identities are, I'm a woman, I'm a white lady, I'm a girl with curly hair, I'm a stand-up comedian, I am the... No, you are sentience, bitch. That's what you are. You are not all of those things. So a lot of times, it's why people get so... You know, sometimes like when you're arguing with somebody, like when I would argue about politics with somebody who's like a far-right Trumper person, and eventually I'd be talking to him and I'm like, wait a second, you just want to be right. Like, I don't think you care about logic or morality. Like, I just think you're clinging to you being right and you're just ignoring everything else. And that to me is a great example, a very common example that we encounter of people just over-identifying with a political candidate, for example. And if he loses, that means you lose. And that can't happen. So I'm going to get my sword and storm the Capitol because I don't believe in myself. So I need to believe in some other guy. Don't do that. Just stop. Okay? And heal my entire body of energy. And with the ATFHT, everyone and anyone who's sick, suffering, or seeking true ascension can now avail themselves of what has been, up until now, outside the collective consciousness. All components of the ATFHT take the current misunderstanding, application, and efficacy of neural rewiring and expound and enhance it by an order of magnitude. We are going to address how to access and cleanse our entire body of energy, not just the more obvious lower sensory realms, but authentically activating our higher consciousness. I mean, sign me the fuck up. How to use this book. Remember, true healing is not a mental exercise, emotional indulgence, or physical exertion. Damn, I wish it was. We often mentally comprehend what's wrong, but can't change our state of being or ill health. Surrender is the key to unlocking your full potential. That sucks because I don't like surrendering, but I guess we're going to have to do it. You must become one with the self in order to powerfully command the divine process of healing as explained in this book. When we talk about surrender, I mean completely, not just mentally, emotionally, or physically. Never reach for a result. That's tough for me to hear. Never reach for a result. But I love results because then they make me feel better about myself when I get them. But rather endlessly flow with the creative process itself. Working with these steps will help. The steps of the Ascend the Frequencies healing technique. Let's go. As you do the exercises in this book, dwell within the self, your essence, not in thought, emotion, or physical tension, and watch what happens to your general state of well-being and health. We'll get more into how to go about doing this in chapter 2 and step 1. Being free, being the self will become your new habit. Ooh, let's get addicted to being ourselves. That sounds fun. It doesn't sound fun, but I feel like it'll be more fun when we're doing it. It makes for a far greater quality of life, the only true quality of life. I will guide you on your return to what is your original you, divinity, freedom, harmony, and perfection. Most of us are unwilling to change our habits or beliefs, thoughts, emotions, actions, and behaviors in order to become well and liberated. Step 1 and your tangible understanding of it is essential for your liberation and healing. It is crucial to tangibly see the egoic identity, and you will, and we will, and boy, it's not cute, in order to break its hold over you, your completeness and perfection. The efficacy of these protocols in step 1 are immediately palpable. True union with the remaining steps, once step 1 has been mastered, will yield incredible results. Here is a summary of the ATFHT program. This summary of the steps and their practices is repeated even more detail in the book's conclusion. Okay. Step 1, access your true essence. Doesn't that sound tasty? Let's go out of your ego, mind, identity, and access your true essence. These simple yet immensely powerful and transformative protocols dissolve the illusion of ego, mind, identity, which is the root cause of all suffering and ill health. And I mean, because without the ego, that's why, I've said this on the podcast before, and I don't mean it in a cruel way, but I feel like, my mom's going to die one day, just scientifically, her body is going to, she's going to leave her body. And I feel like when that happens, we can have like a really good relationship because her ego will have been completely gone. And your ego can get hurt by trauma, man. And shame. When you meet somebody who's ashamed of themselves or ashamed of a part of themselves, they're such an asshole. They're either an asshole or they just don't talk or leave their home. Both are bad. And I want more for both of you. Anybody who's living in shame so hard that you can't act kindly. You don't have access to your own kindness. I mean, you do. It's just kind of, it's buried underneath all the shame. Okay. Step 2, know specifically what you are going to achieve. Separate from your doubts and know specifically what you are going to achieve. You'll ask yourself the question, what specifically do I want to achieve? And refine your answer multiple times through repeating the question. The more fine-tuned and specific your answer, the more power you can harness to bring your specific desires into manifestation. Rather than doubting, you can marry yourself to the vibration of victory already within you. Ooh, I love that attitude. Step 3, activate your healing intention. Activate the state of healing with the intention you created in step 2. You will see, imagine, feel, perform, and verbalize your action. This step utilizes all fundamental human expression: mental, emotional, physical, and verbal. And again, guys, you don't have to have some crazy ass injury to reap the benefits of all this stuff. Okay. Step 4, command creator consciousness. You will learn how to access higher states of consciousness. This step provides the ultimate high frequency meditation where you can access the hidden realms within the higher mind of source. And he does this meditation later in the book. It's potent. I accidentally did it in the car and I had to take a nap before I drove anywhere. Step 5, channel intelligent energy into your body. Oh, this is another good meditation he walks you through. That's very potent. Step 6, turn off the program of illness. Here you will learn how to turn off, unplug, and sever the connections to illness like you would unplug and take down a neon sign, just like this Slickback Studio sign. Just pretend this is your diabetes. You just unplug it and then you're okay, basically. Step 7, use the power of the spoken word. My boy Don Miguel Ruiz talks about that too. Always be impeccable with your word, baby. Words are spells. That's why they call it spelling. Ha ha ha. Here you will utilize the ancient power within the spoken word for repair, self-healing, and a greater quality of life. I mean, this is just, wait, how much more do I want to read? Okay. I'll read this little section. You can do this. How much time we have? Okay. I got a couple minutes. You can do this. Many of us get thrown off by self-care. Not me. Oh, I do it too much. That's part of my problem. That is because we are so used to being out of balance and aggressive with ourselves, even with our own healing energy. Any return of true inner balance feels odd. That's a very important part. Any return of true inner balance feels odd. That's a good point he's making. Don't expect it to feel like perfect right away. Powering through things ultimately leaves us drained of energy. When doubt that you can do this rears its head, simply ask yourself, who is it that doubts? The answer will be me. I am the one who doubts. Then ask yourself, who am I? You will get no answer. The mind will go blank. That's because the voice inside your head, the egoic identity, is not you. It's just a loop program of limitations. We are going to learn how to make the character disappear, and a superior quality of life will be revealed. As you do the work properly, your vibration rises. That is exactly how healing and a greater quality of life works. Low frequency harmony cannot exist within a high frequency environment. I repeat, low frequency harmony cannot exist within a high frequency environment. It just doesn't happen, okay? That's why when you work on yourself, a lot of times your friends fall off. You can lose friendships. It's very common to like work on yourself and become a better you. And a lot of times your friends don't like that. Well, that's good because they were a lower vibration and you're getting higher and you're like, what the fuck, Lisa? Okay, bye. And then you're like, I'm sad. Lisa and Megan don't like me. But it's because Lisa and Megan living down here and now you up here, boo. You different levels. They might get there. Maybe. Hopefully. The self, your essence, is a supremely high frequency. By attuning the brain, which the body must then follow, to the supreme vibration of the self, healing occurs. Some of our new understandings will shine a much-needed light upon the idea of looking and straining for results. Ooh, that's a good one, because you, girl, be looking and straining for results all goddamn day. Guess I gotta stop. Exertion and forced effort. Oh, this one kills me. Exertion and forced effort keep us from accessing our innate balance and inner harmony. That sucks to hear, but it's totally true. And I've read that from several different authors. Trying is resisting. I've said that before. It is essential to understand that it's the egoic identity alone who has the poor quality of life, whether the body is sick or not. The self, what you really are, is formless, free, and unconditional. My physical body was destroyed, permanently paralyzed from the chest down, racked with incomprehensible pain, severe chronic illness, and life-threatening conditions. Yet, I was in a state of grace. Wow, that's good for you, dude. Good for fucking you. If I had all that, I'd be like, why does God hate me? Why does everything bad happen to me and not everyone else? No one else is going through something bad except me. And it just wouldn't have been a ripe environment for healing, shall we say. I did not suffer. More accurately, I was in a state of cosmic consciousness, and my healing was a direct result of this. Once the egoic identity has less of a stranglehold on you, the self and its body of energy, the ailments that we are the awareness of, do not impede our quality of life like before. We have space through the freedom of non-identification. Okay? So getting past the, I am a mother, I am a wife, I am a Chinese lady, like whatever your identities are that mean a lot to you, that doesn't mean what you are, like what society would label you as, but the ones that you cling to, those are the ones to look at and go, maybe we should divorce each other for a little bit and see how that feels. That work space is needed in order to repair and heal. It is always about the quality of our inner life because the outer life is not the self. Which is, boy, you go on Instagram, you see a lot of evidence to the contrary. But that's because all us motherfuckers living in our ego. We got to stop. Not only do we learn how to repair and heal our body of energy, and healing comes in many forms, but we also learn how to free ourselves from the tyranny of the egoic identity. I mean, sign me up for that, RJ. Sign me up for that. This is why the ATFHT is revolutionary. All of us have a much nobler purpose than just the prolonging of our physical life. It is time to find this out for yourself. It's the only way to truly know anything. As the egoic identity disappears, the one who is troubled disappears as well. As stated earlier, healing comes in many forms, and the physical is only one of them. Sometimes we sign up for instantaneous healing, fast healing, gradual healing, slow healing, or even no healing. That is because we must first address our higher vibrational misperceptions, misunderstandings, and misidentifications. Nothing originates in the physical, And that is why there is nothing curative in this realm. I love that sentence. Nothing originates in the physical, because I look out my window often in my apartment. I love my apartment. I have the most gorgeous view that I'm thankful for every single day. And one of the reasons why I love looking at the skyline of a city is because I'm like, dude, that was all the things that I'm looking, all these gargantuan these huge buildings were built by people, but that was all an idea in people's heads. That was an idea. That was a spark. That was hey, let's make this little island. Let's kick all the native people off or pretend they're not here and we'll just kill them and make a city. So I'm not saying it's all that's good, but I am saying, wow, what a powerful thing to look out the window, see the skyline of New York City, and remind yourself, like, that was all an idea in someone's head. That land didn't come like this. White people moved in and said, this is mine now. And then they built all these crazy buildings. And just the fact that it was an idea and now it's reality, it's very impressive. That's why I like bridges. Bridges were all an idea in somebody's head. Do you know the engineering feat of a bridge? It's magnificent. A fan gave me a book about bridges after a show, and I really appreciated it. And I read it. It's really good. Okay. Nothing originates in the physical, and that is why there is nothing curative in this realm. It's not punishment. It's just how the game of self-realization is played. It's time to play it like a master, bitch. I wrote this book so we can all begin to remember how to transcend suffering, the constraints of the human condition, and boy, there are a lot of them, and enjoy a greater quality of life. Well, that sounds nice. To be able to repair and heal ourselves, as well as each other, ooh, that's fun, is eternally within each of us. It's really about the freedom of authentic self-realization in the form of a prescriptive book. That's this book that I'm holding here that I'm reading, on how to repair, heal, and transcend disharmony and ill health. Liberation, freedom, and perfection are your destiny and birthright, motherfucker. Each one of you is the physical manifestation of that birthright. Healing comes in many forms, and whatever form it begins with is of no consequence. What is important is that your liberation from suffering is manifested here and now. Trust in yourself so completely and utterly that fear and doubt no longer exist. You could do it. You are more powerful than you could possibly imagine. I fucking know. We are all a spark of the infinite, a light that shines eternally, a life stream that continues infinitely. Your freedom from the self-imposed prison of your belief-based egoic identity and its disharmonious body of energy is how you heal and transcend. This transcendence, this freedom, is the victory of the light. If you are sacred or doubt yourself in any way, simply close your eyes, reach out, and take my hand. Oh my God, are you trying to date me, RJ? It's always there. You are trying to date me. I have pledged my eternal existence to the freeing of humanity. Thanks, RJ. You probably make a good husband. I shall remain here for you in freedom, love, and triumph for all eternity. You have my unwavering devotion and attention always. I am your holy brother, RJ. Well, that's cool. Guys, that was the intro to this book that I'm going to read. And then next week, we're going to read Chapter 1, Part 1. And if you want to hear the entire Chapter 1, Part 1, you'll hear the first half in the episode, and then the second half at patreon.com/Krystyna Hutchinson. $5 a month. You could do the just here to listen level. And you can listen to, you can binge on all of the group therapy audio that I've done over the months. And you can hear the rest of this book. And I got to say, money well spent. It's a way to support the podcast. Or if you're a business, you want to advertise on the podcast, at Michael Coscarelli or Mike Coscarelli?
Michael A. Coscarelli.
Michael A. Anthony?
Yes.
Michael A. Coscarelli.
At gmail.com.
Gmail.com, baby. Wow, 54 minutes and 22 seconds of bliss. You're welcome, motherfucker. Okay, bye.
Someday we'll be friends with the voices in our heads. The voices in our